All right, good morning, YouTube. Here we go. Here we're back. This is Rot13. Now, if you recall, in 13a, we abstracted our encryption string that we're going to encrypt, our input string, as a string. Then we wrote a class that took that string and encrypted it character by character using a private helper method called encrypt. Alright, then, and that was in main. We were constructing an object based on 13a, right? Okay. Then in main we changed it to 13b, and in 13b what we did was we abstracted our data to be represented by in a static array of integers, where each integer is an ASCII code representing the character in the inputted string to be encoded, and the outputted string that is the encoded string. Okay, so what did we do? We changed our private instance fields from strings to integers, integer arrays. We constructed those integer arrays in the constructor, and then we loaded up the text in array with the input, which was the string s, one character at a time. We used the loop to traverse that. And then we used another loop to build text out, the text out array, using the same encrypt method. And is that the same encrypt method as part A? Let's see. Or part B. Let's see. Part A. I'm looking at my printout for part A. Yeah, part B looks the same. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so what are we going to do in part C? We're going to abstract it again another way. We're going to show how, like in this case, we showed how a string is sort of like an integer array, or sort of like an array, okay, of static ints, right? Now, we're going to take that one step further and make Rot13c use ArrayLists. Aha. Okay, so let's change our main. The idea is that the abstraction is different. How we're representing the data is different. But the user doesn't have to know that. The client class or the main class doesn't need to know that. All they need to know is the name of the class. So in this case, it's going to be Rot13c. There you go. And that's the only change to main in part A or part B or part C. In part D, we'll talk about how to debug these things. That might give me different main or client classes depending on the way we abstracted the data types, right? But there you go. All right, so we'll save that. That's my main. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 13b, just like I did before. I took 13a, copied it into 13b, and changed it up, right? Now I'm going to copy 13a, so see, Control-A, copy. Make a new file. Let's go in it, and Control-V to paste. There it is. All right, so this is really 13b. So, but we're going to make it 13c, so let's call it Rot13c. All right, here we go. You know, there's a lot of stuff in this project. There's different ways of abstracting the input data. How do we encapsulate the data? You know, we're allowing only a toString to access the data. We're not really mutating the data beyond the constructor. Inheritance. Well, we're inheriting the toString method from the object class, and we're overriding it. Polymorphism. Java-C will know which toString method to use once we construct a Rot13 A, B, or C object. It'll use the correct toString method. Let's see. So inheritance is decided at the early binding Java-C time, and polymorphism is decided in late binding Java time. Right now, in this emulator here that we have, Replit, we don't have a Java-C and Java time, but whatever. So here we go. So let's rename it. All right, so let's change what we've got to change. Oh, it's not going to be called Rot13b. It's going to be called Rot13c. Yay. Okay. Instead of a static integer array, we're going to do an array list of integer objects for text in and text out. So let's write that. Let's make an array list of integer objects. So we're going to wrap our ASCII integers, ASCII codes, in the integer class using the integer wrapper class. Okay, so there you go. And we'll do the same thing for text out. I'm trying to make 13c very much like 13-bit, so we're using ArrayLists, right? What's nice about an array list is that it's dynamic, so it resizes itself on the fly as needed, as you add or remove objects. What's tricky about ArrayLists is that you can only put objects in there. So if you want to put an int, you have to wrap it in the integer class. You want to put a double in there, you have to wrap it in the double class. Well, that's not a big deal. What's nice about ArrayLists, though, is it is really a class. So it has methods. It has a get method, has a set method, has an add method, has an overloaded add method, has a remove method, has a size method. It's all very convenient, okay? All right, so let's see. I don't have my Java doc down here. I don't know why. But, okay, you can add your Java doc at your own discretion. Now remember, if your class, in this case 13c, has an object of another class, right, is using another class, like in this case an array list, you declare it into private instance fields, but then you construct it, sort of like we constructed the static int arrays, in the constructor, right? So let's do that. So text in is going to be a new array list of integer type, right? Of integer object type. So new, and you don't have to specify the size. Again, it resizes, so I don't have to do this s.length stuff or s. Well, yeah, s.length. Okay, anyway, so new array list of integer objects, but notice how this is different. You have to put parentheses here because this is the constructor method, all right? And okay, so this is declaring the type up here, and this is constructing it using the ArrayList constructor. Good. All right, and then same idea here. New array list of integer objects, and we're using the constructor method. Okay. All right, so how is the loop going to change? Let's see. For I'm going to use an add method, so I need a for int, not a for each. You can add at a particular place, or at a particular place in an existing list or existing array list, or you can just use the add method and appends everything to the end of the list. So I'm going to use that one. So for int I equals 0 to s.length I plus plus. That sounds good. Text in dot add. We don't access by index as we did before. Okay, so the int of s.car at I, and that sounds good. Okay, so the difference here is that we're going to use the add method. So get rid of this and put that inside of an add method. So I think I need. Let's see, that opens and closes there. That opens and where does that open and close? It doesn't. That opens and closes there. That opens and closes there. So I need another close. Bing. Let's make this a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm doing. Can I make this a little bigger? No? That's odd. I thought I could make this a little bigger. I guess not. Okay. All right, so that's loading up the input. Okay, let's do the output. Now, we already constructed text out. That's good. So for int I equals 0 to I is less than s.length I plus plus, text out dot add the encrypt of text in dot get b. Now think about it. We have integers in the array list, in the input array list, the text in. If I do text in dot get, I'm going to get an integer. Now remember, what happens here is we used to have to actually wrap the integer, the int as an integer object before we put it in the array, and we used to actually get the integer value when we plugged it out, but when we took it out. But we don't have to do that anymore. In the current version of Java, we have auto boxing, auto unboxing, so that takes care of everything. But realize what we're doing. We're encrypting. We want to encrypt an int, right? Okay, I think I might have to change my encrypt method. Let's see, what's my encrypt method look like? Yeah, I think I'm going to. All right, so you know what? Let's do that. So let's do text out dot add. So get rid of this. Dot add, append to the end of the list. And the list is empty, starting at 0. If you got something at 0, it's putting an object at 1, at index, then at index 2, then at index 3. That's fine. So encrypt. How about text in dot get b? because text in is an array list and has a get method. Get I. Alright, so that opens and closes the get. That opens and closes the encrypt. I didn't open and close the add. There you go. Okay, I think that does it. Okay, so now, does that change my encrypt method? Let's see. Yes, because my encrypt method now needs to have an integer input. Alright, so how about we say this? Let's make it an int, and let's call it ASCII because that's what it is. It's an ASCII code. It's just the name of the variable. Now, let's see. If let's see, what am I doing here? If character dot is uppercase, yeah, I'm not going to worry about whether it's a letter or not. I'm just going to worry about, let's see. All right, let's think about it. If it's punctuation, it's not, I don't want anything to be done to ASCII, so I'm just going to return ASCII. If it's an uppercase or no lowercase, then I have to encrypt it slightly differently. You know what? I'm going to just get rid of all this stuff. Whoopsie. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to. Let's see. I have to get rid of all this stuff. Let's get rid of all this stuff. Bye. Let's do this completely different. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the code, subtract the ASCII code for capital A from it if it's uppercase, and then add 13 and mod it 26, and then add back the code for uppercase A. But then I have to do that for lowercase a, and I have to actually do it with the actual codes, like uppercase A is a 65 and lowercase a is a 97, right? So we're going to just do this all numerically instead of using char. Alright, let's make some room down here. Okay, so all you really have to do is this. Okay, let's do if character, small keyboard, why isn't that looking right? Character, there you go, dot is upper, because remember we're putting in an ASCII code which is an int, but that can be treated as a character, so I can still use the character that is upper here. Upper case, camel case, ASCII, okay, so open close is upper, open close the if that's the case, okay, we're going to return just like we did before. Probably shouldn't have erased everything. The integer cast, well, it is an integer already. I don't think I need that. Do I need that? I had that before, but no, I was using char, so I don't have to cast it to an integer. So I'm going to take the ASCII code that I have as input, subtract from it a capital A's ASCII code, which is 65. I'm going to take all of that. So in other words, it's 0 if the input is a capital A right now, right? So I'm shifting back to 0, and then plus 13 because it's Rot13, and then take all of that and mod it 26 so we don't run out of letters, right? So mod 26, and then I'm going to take all of that and add 65 back so that it's back into the range of where the letters are in the ASCII code. I think that's it. Now ASCII is an int, those are all ints, it returns an int. Oh, I'm returning an int. Okay, whoops, watch out. What? I'm returning an int. So it's the same old encrypt method, but we're not just using chars, we're just using the ASCII codes, okay? And then likewise, what if it's lowercase? So if character class, just like there's a double class and there's an integer class, and right, character class dot is lower case, using the value ASCII, then you can do the same idea, return what int? Well, let's see. We're going to return. All right, I'm going to just copy what I have up there. So open ASCII, but now it's lowercase a I'm subtracting, so minus 97. Open plus 13, so it's minus 13. Remember, this is also decrypts. There you go. If you're not doing mod 13, you'd have to do separate encrypt and separate decrypt depending on what you're adding and subtracting if it's not 13. Alright, 26 plus, and then go back to 97 where the lowercase letters are. Semicolon. Okay, that should do it. Now, how's my toString? toString. Alright, let's see. String temp. Okay, that's good. Return temp, right. Oh, we got a little fancy with this here. At this point, what we did was we printed out a little, not just the encrypted string, but the inputted string too. All right, so this is what we did. We went and we said, okay, let's start here with input equals. Just to make it a little more fancy. You don't have to. All right, space it out a little bit. And then we had a for loop that goes from int I to I dot text in that size. We're going to use the size method, and we're printing out the text in also. So text in dot size method, don't mix it up with the length method from the string class, and don't mix it up with the length public attribute of the static int arrays, okay, which is not a method. Okay, I plus plus, right? Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to do temp plus equals the character, change it to a character, right? Because we're going to concatenate a bunch of characters to make the string of text in dot get I. Aha. Now we found out that at this point it does, if we get I in this manner, it doesn't auto unbox it to a regular int, so we had to do int value from the integer class. Since what we're getting, what we get I is an integer object, so we can do that. And whoops, where'd my I go? So we're still doing indices, but this way. All right, and so there you go. And then we dolled it up a little bit. We said, okay, temp plus equals quote backslash n, a new line, backslash n, another new line. Then here comes the output. Output equals, and so now we're labeling the output, and that should do it right there. Okay, and then let's do another loop for printing out the output. So for int I starts at 0. You don't have to use I all the time. It's just a dummy variable, a loop counting variable, an LCV, right? I is less than text out that size, which is the same as text in that size. They're the same size, but what have you. Text out that size. We could even have calculated that separately and stored it in some variable and just put that variable len length here or something. Semicolon I plus plus. Okay, and then let's close the for line and let's do what? Well, just like before, it's going to be temp plus equals, and we're going to add on the character cast of each of the ASCII codes, which is text out dot get I, and again that int value. I thought it would auto unbox and not have to use int value, but we found that we needed int value here. Yeah, I thought that was automatic, but okay. And I think that's the whole thing. All right, let's save it. So there's Rot13c. And whoops, be careful. Let's put Rot13c here. And you can add your Java doc later. Save it. And main is testing Rot13c. So let's test it. Oh boy, what did we do wrong now? I probably have some kind of typo. Oh, I was testing 13b before we were editing 13c. So let's start the run over again. And I messed up. Oh yes, what's missing? What's missing? We didn't import. Okay, let's go back. Yeah, the ArrayList class is not in java.lang, so you have to import it. So the first line should be import java.util.ArrayList. So sorry. Right before the class. Okay, so import Java.util. Remember, anything in Java.lang is automatically imported for you, like the string class, util, like the math class, stuff like that. ArrayList class. Okay, save that. All right, let's see if that fixed stuff. Don't like this red stuff here. All right, boom. What did I do? Text in. Didn't I? Wait, okay, what line is that? Line 14. Okay, let's see what's going on in line 14. Alright, in Rot13c, where am I? Yes, in Rot 14. Text in. Didn't I construct text in? There it is. Text in equals new array list of integer type, of integer objects constructor, right? For int I equals 0 to I dot s dot I is less than s dot length, I plus plus, text in dot add. What happened to the dot add? Whoopsie. Text in dot add, just like we did here. Oh, didn't we say we were going to do a dot add? So sorry. Yeah, it doesn't know what to do with text in as a method. It looks like it's a method. Okay, wait. So it's text in dot add. Oh boy, forget the.
Good morning. Today is
ignore
Thursday,
that.
April 6, 2017.
Okay. We said we're going to do that.
Please
Okay.
stand for the
Save.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Kindly excuse the announcements. Oh my goodness, I got to stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
Line 19.
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
19.
Congratulations to the Challenger basketball team on their win against C4 52-40 on Tuesday. Please join us for our last home game today at 3:30 against Massapequa.
Oh, yeah, it's not an array, static array. We got rid of the index. Didn't we say that?
Will the following students please stop by the main office before 2 o'clock today to see Mrs. Conroy?
We're just using a get method instead of the indices of static array.
Maylene
Alright,
Caesar,
see what that
Michael
does.
Forty, Nisi Lewis, Ari
What
Peralta,
now? Line
Alyssa
49.
Ramos,
Yes,
Monique
missing
Spencer,
return
and Jessica
statement. Really?
Vincello. Baking Club will
Line
be
49.
meeting today after school in room 312. It will be a sad
Line
meeting
40.
today.
Oh yeah, we
at 8
said
after
if it's
school
not
in room
lowercase or
413. Please
uppercase,
arrive
we're just going to
promptly.
return
See you
it
then. Phoenix Magazine is accepting
unchanged.
all
So
literary and art
return
books until tomorrow.
ASCII, the
We are
code
working on a
that
book
we
for
were
our
working
spring
with.
edition.
Yes.
All
We said that at the
submissions
beginning. I
should
don't know
go
why I
to
didn't. I
Mr.
usually write
Kelly
that
before
first.
16.
Okay. Nope, what is that?
Any senior who has not yet given their t-shirt size for the senior trip must go to room 724 during an off period. Also, the final senior trip payment is due April 21st. It will be
Okay,
announced in the main
Watson.
office. Attention seniors, time is running out for you to purchase your senior
Can
yearbook.
you
To purchase your
hear
yearbook
me
online, please
now?
go to www.boneschools.org/VHS.
Alright, so the input
click
is
on our school tab,
the output's the
clubs,
same
and
as the
select
input?
the yearbook
No.
club tab.
What'd I
The
do?
direct link for purchases can be found there.
Where's my
Prices are going up. Get your
my
yearbook
two-string?
today. Fashion Club will meet today directly after school at 2:40 and 3:16 for a
this should say
yearbook
text
picture.
in. I wanted to
Key
print
Club
out
will
the
be
input
hosting an
first,
event on
right?
Friday, April 21st at
Okay.
6 p.m. in the
Text
Commons.
in,
Our
say.
goal is to raise money for SIBS, which provide free therapeutic services for children
Alright,
born
try that.
with a sibling with cancer or another devastating illness.
Watson.
The tickets will be $5.
Can you
There will be
hear
a DJ, snacks,
me
giveaways, and a
now?
sketching performance.
Sounds
Tickets
like
will
the
be on
AT&T
sale on
commercial,
Wednesday,
right?
April
Verizon,
19th,
what is that?
the day we return from
And
break.
let's see, Watson,
Hope
can you hear
come
me
and
now?
support a worthy
Young
cause.
blah blah blah. Okay.
There will be a meeting for all boys who are
And
interested in
you
playing
could
soccer
decrypt
next
it
year
by
tomorrow
copying
at
the output and putting in the
2:45
input,
and
but I think we've
6:25.
demonstrated that
Please see
before. So
Mr.
we're
Supos
done.
or Mr. LaForza
Alright, so
if
thank
cannot
you.
attend.
Have a nice
This is
day,
Max Young
everybody.
signing off. Have a
That
good
was
day
fun.
and a pleasant tomorrow.
So Rot 13 is done, except maybe I'll do a 13D about debugging, which will be different main. We'll see about that. Alright, that's Rot 13c. Bye bye, YouTube.